Extremely simple to build. You've got a container, usually a glass container or something breakable.
Oh no! The poor guy.
In this case, right onto somebody's back. If you're going to hit something like a helicopter with this and pierce it, you've got aerosolized fuel, you're going to have a big explosion.
Ooh, all right.
Now we're going into something a little bit more modern.
Yeah, we got the...
Same round, 6 shots, and 1 large revolver.
I always love these, man. Whenever you see these in like in movies and stuff, it's the next best thing to the Mark 19.
It's quick launch, 6 rounds, just absolute beauty. And they've made it light enough to carry. At that point, you're just, carrying around the weight of the rounds.
Right.
Take a couple backpack fulls, and you'll be having a good time all day.
Do you ever have any experience with anything like that in the service? Any familiarization?
Service, no. Fun, yes.
Pipe bomb on Santa Monica Beach. Ooh, ooh.
Let's see the damage that this little thing does.
Oh.
Literal incendiary reaction with a little fire left over at the end.
It looks like we got like a little detonator, like rather than like a lit fuse or some sort of, button that you press and you throw it out there.
Looks like a little timer.
Yeah.
1 second, 2 second timer. A little close for comfort. Let's see how you're going to do it on a bike.
Very Captain America Winter Soldier.
And that's how I expect to use that. Absolutely just mousetrap that truck.
Right. She's got a good arm.
I mean, she's getting good some range on it, chucking a pipe bomb.
On Adam's Apple Boulevard.
Well, there goes the bus. Let's see what's going on next. Right onto a fire.
Wait, This looks like a little bit of like C4.
Probably the worst place that you could throw explosives.
Almost. Oh, what is it? Was that just for us?
You just poured gasoline straight onto a fire which had what's on it. Yeah, that's one way to seppuku.
Flare gun.
The flare gun.
Nice.
Well, that's pretty accurate. There usually comes in like a red or an orange plastic flare gun.
Right, for safety, right?
Mm-hmm. You can see it in emergency.
Yeah.
Usually in a 12 gauge round.
They burn pretty hot that you know of? Do you set a couple of things on fire if you're not careful?
It's an incendiary device, so it's going to burn all the way down. As you can kind of see, it kind of went and burned. It's going to last in the water too. It's going to be, usually self-oxidizer or something that'll continue to go.
You can light her on fire or signal for help.
That's the proper use for it. Just point straight up, fire, and wait.
Or you could kill Billy Zane in Dead Calm.
Yeah, I think it's going to bounce off of really any of these cars. You just kind of have a flaming ball that comes out. It doesn't come out at a very fast rate. I doubt you could do that as well, unless that person was covered in acetone, gasoline, or some kind of solvent. I think it would, just hit the person, probably bounce off.
This is obviously a movie set,
This would likely burn catch you on fire. Yep, and go out.
Setting rubber on fire. You ever tried to set rubber, like a rubber tire on fire? Those things,
Oh, absolutely. It burned blacker than black. It's the worst thing you can do. Do not be anywhere near it. It stinks to high heaven, but it puts up huge clouds of black smoke.
Good for distracting rangers in Mogadishu.
Good for Oldsmobile.
Help! This guy's on fire!
I'm pretty sure if you shot one into one of those palm trees, though, it would set on fire like every 4th of July around here.
Right. Just another day on Venice Beach.
I'd like to see if you could bounce those, though. Kind of hit it on the ground, see if you could bounce it up and under the cars.
Well, I mean, it looks like it's got some distance on it. What do you think the maximum effective distance is?
Maybe 200 meters.
I mean, you gotta shoot it, you gotta get it up in the air,
Effective, though? Maybe 25. Full range, maybe 200. I mean, these things are not gonna, fly straight like a bullet, have some drop to them.
Right.
And I think the further out you go, the less it weighs, the more it's gonna kind of float out.
Yeah. RPG, Rocket-propelled grenade, the classic, man. I think even people that don't know anything about explosive ordnance or rocket-propelled grenades know what this is.
Well, of course, it's been in every good action movie since like the 1970s. Every bad guy, somebody in the background of everything just happens to have one and own one. So I know exactly what it's like.
Just a grenade on top of a propellant, right?
Mine happens to be a prop for movies and TV. But yeah, it's a grenade, a small rocket and rocket engine, fins that shoot out to stabilize. Bob's your uncle. Then you have the actual launcher, little sight up top, trigger mechanism.
Yeah.
Point and shoot, fire and forget technology.
Nice. Old Soviet, you think mainly?
Oh, absolutely. But they were licensed to be produced at other places such as China. North Korea has been producing them for many years as well.
We see a lot of the flaming fireballs when things are hit, you know, like things just explode in a ball of flame. I think it's probably a little more artistic license, a little flashier for the video game, you know?
You know, you hit the gas tank every time and it does it. If you're going to hit something like a helicopter with this and pierce it, you've got aerosolized fuel, you're going to have a big explosion.
What I love is that he was just standing there taking like 70 different rounds while he was taking aim.
I think we're just watching God mode go on. You know, I just see this guy, you know, unlimited reload, takes every bullet, every piece of shrapnel. See, this is a good use for it, and it looks like in that case it hit the blades.
With RPGs specifically, are there different kinds of rounds as with like a grenade launcher, something like armor piercing or high explosive or smoke, or is it generally just people modify it, or do you think it's been pretty much just a grenade on the end of a rocket?
There are several types of rockets available. For different things such as anti-personnel or soft armor versus something with heavy armor. Some of the rockets will have a shape charge in the end, which will help it propel through most types of armor.
Yeah, we had a little experience with these in Iraq. We were driving through Mosul, had a couple of these fired at us. I saw the vapor trail. One went under the front, in between the front and the back vehicles, under the undercarriage and past the vehicle. That was a lucky or an unlucky shot for them. And then they tried again, fired another one, and then we were on them. But that was as close as I ever got to an RPG.
We had one go through the windshield of our sister platoon, Titan 3. Went through. Good thing that there was only one person in the vehicle at the time, which was the gunner. So he sustained some injuries to his legs, but overall it saved him. And that started a long firefight for us.
Wow.
Other times we've had our 7-ton with the armadillo package, got hit in the back armor with an RPG. Wasn't a fun day, but everybody survived.
Wow, right on, man. Oh, the homing launcher. I'm not too familiar with the technology that goes into something like this.
This is more of surface-to-air launcher, where you're going to have a tracking type device or a heat round that's something that would be tracking, you know, the engine's heat or something you've locked onto it. It's definitely not just a fire out in the open, and these are usually have different type of projectiles to take down airplanes, helicopters, drones, than it would be to kind of launch at the ground like he's doing like an RPG.
Oh, that's wild, man.
Yeah, something along the lines of this for launching at, you know, surface to air like a Stinger missile, lock on.
Those are some tight turns. That must be Maverick up there.
Well, we're about to see.
Maverick, no!
Lock on, fire, and you see the rocket is now homing onto the heat-seeking, onto the heat device right there.
All right. No!
And took out the engine as exactly as you expect.
Hopefully he bailed out. Tom Cruise. Oh, he's still... Oh, okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
When they got that sticky bomb always reminds me of Saving Private Ryan.
Putting everything in for the sock.
Put covered in motor grease.
And then tied off the end, stuck it to the tank, and Bob's your uncle. This looks a little bit more modernized version.
Yeah.
The problem with sticky bombs, you got to be able to hold the weight of the explosives onto something. You can't just use like a glue, especially if you're throwing it about 30 feet.
Yeah. Well, that's a heck of an arm. This looks like the video game type of sticky where it's just going to stick to literally anything.
You know, God glue on something, and it just goes.
Oh, no! That poor guy.
In this case, right onto somebody's back. That would definitely hurt.
Go to the underground vault, comrade.
Complete damage. I would see these being used to penetrate walls and doors and things more than it would be just, you know, as an anti-personnel device.
Extreme with prejudice anti-personnel. Look out for that guy on the motorcycle.
And motorcycle. Don't worry, I have Simtech.
No, I'm on fire! I actually heard, I mean, you know, C4, pretty durable. You know, mess with it, mold it, shape it. You can even set it on fire. It has to have some sort of charge or...
You need two things, really. You need heat and pressure. You can light C4 on fire and actually cook over it, as long as you don't stomp it out with your boot afterwards. It's not the best thing in the world, but it's a possible way. Now, you need to use something concussive in nature, explosive in nature to start off, like a blasting cap. Kind of the best thing to use, electric, non-electric, and fire it that way. This way it looks like they've hooked up a little timer, little push button to start the timer. Electric goes right into electric blasting cap, and just hit the button and whale it.
Proximity mines are always those magical things in video games where at a loss as to like what kind of technology, maybe like you got like either a tripwire or it's like a infrared sensor or something like that.
You could use something like that. You could also use like a PIR device, a passive infrared, where really anything of size passes in front of it will go off. I don't know if it would let off a little alarm like that.
It kind of defeats the purpose.
I think that's more for the video games. I wouldn't want anything warning my target if I was building something. Trying to outrun the cop.
Oh, he's planted them and now they're after him and they're setting off the proximity mines.
Okay. There's a hero now.
He's just dropping them.
Yeah, he seems like he's just dropping them as he goes.
Good on those cops, man. That cop
I'm sure might work.
Consistently outrunning those proximity mines. I like it.
I mean, if you keep up with the same speed as the guy running and you know it's all exploding behind you, that's one thing. But the concussive nature, the shrapnel is gonna do that. It's gonna do exactly
a wasted life.
Yeah. You gotta remember the timer starts as you're moving towards the target.
Right. What do you think they got? And I think it's like a C4 explosive. It's just the timer and the sensors that's different.
Could be C4, Simtex, plastic explosive of some kind.
Wasting your time playing video.
And he's gone. Not a waste, but
hey, I take it back.
Now we got, the police running from the.
Something tells me those sunglasses aren't regulation.
Maybe 1970s police officer.
Yeah, see a gold chain there.
All right. Well, it looks like he's running side by side with the explosives rather than directly at it, which probably is your best chance of getting away from it. By the looks of it, it's just explosives taped with a trigger type device. So there's really no shrapnel, nothing else. It's gonna send anything anywhere else. You're just gonna get an explosion in place.
Seems like proximity mines would be really good for if you're like defending a perimeter in place, you know what I mean? Not going out and assaulting the streets of LA.
Definitely more for the defense than the offense, like most mines are there for.
All right, the compact grenade launcher.
Well, it looks like we're starting off with stealing the van. I mean, it looks like an M79 grenade launcher. Break action type.
Yeah.
One shot, China Lake, just 40 millimeters of pure death and destruction.
But a smaller version. I've never seen anything quite that small. It looks almost like a flare gun.
It's pretty much a large flare gun of 40 millimeter at that point.
Well, I like the balance because there is supposed to be a minimum arming distance for grenade launchers, too.
Absolutely.
Wait a minute. This is so unrealistic. How many rounds was that?
Looks like there's a mod there. That is like semi-auto on a break action type weapon.
Just another day on the 405.
How the heck is...
Whoa!
And I think he just dropped his load.
Are we in the multiverse right now? He just dropped like 78 rounds out of his grenade launcher.
He just got hit by a card and then, went full auto on that.
He's just taking it. Wow.
Launching about 1,000 rounds on death. And comes right back to life. I want to know what's going on with this guy. What did he drink in the morning?
Now, Quinton, do you know 40 millimeter grenades? I know we got different types. We got high explosive, we got smoke grenades, things like that. How close is that to the kind of ordnance that you were exposed to when you were doing your service?
Oh, we had several guys with M203s firing the same rounds that would come out of this single one, the M79.
Okay.
We used them for everything from marking targets with the green and yellow smoke grenades we had at the time to, dropping warheads on foreheads.
I had some exposure to this when I was in Special Forces. I remember doing some range time with the M79. We got a little bit of time with the Mark 19, the automatic grenade launcher, a fully automatic grenade launcher. That was a lot of fun.
My favorite weapon out there.
Lay waste to an entire neighborhood with that puppy.
Yeah, of course. With each of those grenades having a 5-meter kill radius and a 10-meter death and destruction radius, you've got a lot of options when it comes to dropping 375 rounds a minute onto any given target. And trust me, with that gun, you want to link those belts.
We're looking at all these exploding cars. People don't know this, but generally people in Los Angeles carry gasoline in their vehicles, just cans and cans of gasoline.
Oh, jerry cans full in the back of their electric cars.
This is insane. This is almost as insane as the Metal Gear Solid creative gameplay that Cameron and I were exposed to that traumatized us. It's gotta be a mod or something like that.
There's gotta be something going on because he is just dropping every time he gets hit.
We gotta get our resident emergency room surgeon to see what the effects of all of these explosives would be on the normal average human body, because this guy is obviously some sort of superhuman person.
Well, not to mention just the concussive blast of them blowing up so close to you and then getting run over.
Right. Right? We're talking slight tissue damage here. I don't know if you've worked on video games or if you've played video games and stuff like that. The explosions, the smoke and stuff that we're seeing, pretty right on, or maybe just a little bit of artistic license.
Anytime you're with a grenade, it's a lot of artistic license. When you see the big flare coming up, usually when a grenade blows up, it's just straight black smoke right away.
Not a giant fireball that you can walk away from slowly.
No, not quite. Grenades are high explosive, usually can't be.
Oh, tear gas. Anyone who's ever joined military service is familiar with a little bit of tear gas, because there's always one day of training, that gas chamber training in basic, where they give the mask, then you're in a big room, you got the CS gas there, and then you have to take off your mask and get exposed to it, baby.
Take off the mask, pull it up.
And it's like snot. No fun. You do not want to be in the area with that.
I don't know if you're familiar, if you actually use, a smoke grenade kind of canister of tear gas versus the CS gas burning in a gas chamber.
We never used, I did a lot of smoke, no tear gas, no CS gas, as far as like actually used it out on the field. It was mostly just a lot of smoke.
We only had one circumstance where in training before we went to Afghanistan, Gunny taped a tear gas canister onto a stick, lit it, called gas. Everybody had to stand in the line to make sure everything was donned and cleared, and then he went by everybody with it. Great training. Made sure everything was well.
Yeah, mostly when you do stuff like that, the point is actually so you can trust your equipment. You know that it works. It's not just to torture you pointlessly.
CS gas is kind of an irritant versus anything else. You're not talking like a blister agent, a blood agent, something more deadly like nerve gas. You're really just talking about something that's going to piss you off for a couple of minutes. That way you're really confident with all of your gear. Guys like me and you aren't going to do too well in the gas chamber anymore. These big furry beards kind of keep it off your face.
Breaks the seal, yeah.
So that's why everybody in the military, or the U.S. military these days, is cleanly shaven. That way they can don and clear the gas mask and be very safe about it.
I feel bad for our marauder pagans, sticking to their religious convictions while serving in the military. It could be a problem.
Now this looks more like knockout gas.
Yeah.
Like comical knockout gas versus tear gas.
Nap time, baby.
And I'm pretty sure this guy would have noticed that canister as soon as it got thrown in. And probably be with that. No, I see it. Yep.
He's okay. Oh no, what happened? Oh, now I'm affected. Oh no. What are we in Lethal Antiquities now? Featured on Total Recoil. Yeah.
The old musket. Now you're talking real old school. Not even ball and trap.
Flintlock musket, maybe? Yeah, you put the powder in there, the ball.
Forgot to tamp it down. You haven't done really anything. You gotta, clean it out, take it in, dump your powder, push it down, put the ball in, push it down, put the wad on top, get it down in there, replace the rod, and then fire.
Is this something they might call you for if you're doing something maybe on a movie set, or is this maybe a different department?
Fireworks?
I mean, no, the...
Fireworks are definitely endurance.
The musket, just to differentiate between different departments, but...
Nowadays, muskets and most firearms, if any, all firearms, are handled by an armor on set.
Like Clay Van Sickle from Movie Gun Guy.
No longer is it done by Special Clay Van Sickle. Yeah, absolutely.
Look at that, the cardboard!
The firework launcher,
yeah. He's got like a PVC tube or something.
This looks definitely homemade and put together. I'm going to say Pringles cans.
Pringles
It looks like Pringles cans. A manila envelope ripped open and taped on there. Piece of saran wrap.
I love it, man.
Or like packaging that it came in.
Oh, that's so great. God bless America.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is what we used to do, for bottle rockets back in the day. You just have a PVC tube, you stick it in, and you at least have the ability to aim it somewhere.
Right.
But this has gone really way up there.
Molotov. This is another classic that you see in a lot of movies and video games, the Molotov cocktail, which is basically what?
Extremely simple to build. You've got a container, usually a glass container or something breakable. You've got your fuel or your fuel oxiders or mixer inside the bottle, and then you pretty much just have a rag that you can light and throw. Very simple, very easy to use. It's been popping up a lot in the Ukraine right now for its simplicity and the fact that they drink a lot of beer and wine.
A lot of hard alcohol.
Again, the problematic thing about a Molotov cocktail, if you hold it too long or if you drop it too close, it lights on fire indiscriminately. It'll stick to most things and burn, baby.
A grenade? But what kind of grenade? Grenade.
Grenades. Baseball? Pineapple? So what he's doing there, pulling the pin, obviously, that's your one safety device. Your next thing is the spoon covering the side along there. Once that goes, your timer hits your fuse. Your fuse will burn until the explosive goes off.
That looked like, that looked kind of close to like an M67, that kind of smooth looking.
Absolutely. A little bit smoother, a little bit more round around the outside. Definitely no chunks like pineapple grenades.
A jerry can? You mean just a can of gasoline?
Fuel container?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So it looks like you got a 5 gallons. Looks like the military metal jugs. 20 liters. Yeah, 20 liters of fuel just dumping on the ground. With fuel being $5 a gallon right now. This guy's literally walking right in front of it. Like, if you're going to take a piss in the forest, you don't just, keep pissing walking into it.
Ignite it with a bullet?
And then lighting it with just a single shot into wood. A bullet shooting into wood. So there's not even really a chance unless you're hitting a nail for a spark.
You need a spark, yeah.
Yeah. It is a jerry can.
Quinton, you got any closing thoughts on the stuff that we saw today from GTA 5?
Well, when it comes to Grand Theft, you can either go with the big weapon or the small weapon. But honestly, nobody's there to steal cars anymore. We're just about shooting high explosives into things. I'd say keep doing it, keep having fun.
Yeah, keep having fun, keep it in the digital world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quinton, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can people find you out there?
Well, you can usually find me on your local film, TV, or commercial set in Hollywood, California.
If you want to hang out with me a little bit more, head on over to the Pop Culture Field Manual podcast, and we'll see you on the next one.